Hello, everybody. Welcome to Senstaku's ADHD stream. I'm John, also known as Senstaku. Um, and I'm an adult with ADHD, and this is how I cope with that. Uh, so I'm a couple of things. First of all, what this stream is going. I'm going to be basically I've challenged myself to stream every day, Monday through Friday, from 9 a.m. to noon Eastern time. And I am the objective to when you're an adult with ADHD, schedules are very important, because otherwise you just sort of do nothing all day, and feel bad about it. Uh, and I figured the idea was that I would sort of use that both as a method of controlling my own ADHD and also as doing an ADHD awareness thing, because a lot of people around the world still see ADHD as either not a real thing or a thing only kids have. And it's not only a real thing, millions of people, millions of children are diagnosed with it throughout the world, but those children then grow up to be adults who continue to have ADHD no matter what people feel like the truth is, even though the truth is that they still have it. I kind of got it with me, but in the spirit of raising ADHD awareness as well as playing video games, I figured I'd open at least the first episode of this, and I'll probably and this will be something that I'll have sort of rotating on whenever I take breaks, with some information about ADHD. So, this is where we get into the edutainment portion. What is ADHD? Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder is a chronic condition that affects millions of children and often continues into adulthood. ADHD includes a combination of persistent problems such as difficulty sustaining attention, hyperactivity, and impulsive behavior, according to the Mayo Clinic. I want to preface everything that I talk about medical-wise here with according to the source that I provide, because there's a lot of contention about what exactly ADHD is, even amongst the medical community. And so it's not a thing that is well understood, because, who studies kids being hyperactive? Not a lot of people, as it turns out. Even though it's something that probably should be studied more. But what we have is what we have, kind of thing. And it's, as someone with ADHD who's been diagnosed with ADHD since I was 6, I find it's important to work within the confines of what our current understanding is, and then bounce off of that. So that's the general definition of ADHD. But the Mayo Clinic also has a list of symptoms. So when you look at ADHD symptoms, you separate them out into two parts: inattentiveness, and hyperactivity or impulsiveness. And the generally accepted diagnosis tool is that if, as a child, you have 6 of any combination of these particular symptoms that persist for 6 months or more, you have ADHD. As an adult, it's 5, but at least 5, I should say. So we've got ADHD symptoms. Again, this is from the Mayo Clinic. So, in the realm of inattention, we've got if you fail to pay close attention to details or make careless mistakes in schoolwork, have trouble staying focused in tasks or play. This one has a caveat of ADHD is traditionally understood to be inability to stay focused on tasks, but it can also be a hyperfixation on very specific things, sometimes willing, sometimes not. So having trouble to stay focused is more of a generalized thing. You generally have trouble staying focused, but in specific instances, you can still hyperfocus, like I do a lot. Have difficulty following through with instructions and fail to finish schoolwork or chores. Have trouble organizing tasks and activities. Avoid or dislike tasks that require focused mental effort, such as homework, again with the caveat of hyperfixation. Lose items needed for tasks or activities, for example, toys, school assignments, pencils. Be easily distracted. Forget to do some daily activities, such as forgetting to do chores. in this forgetting to do daily activities, things like taking a shower, taking a bath, brushing your teeth, washing your hair, things like that all fall in. And then the hyperactivity scale, fidget or tap with their hands or feet, or squirm in your seat, have difficulty staying seated in classrooms or other situations, be on the go in constant motion, run around or climb in situations when it's inappropriate, have trouble playing or doing an activity quietly, talk too much, grab the wrong thing when I'm trying to move my video, uh, have difficulty waiting for their turn, interrupt or intrude on others' conversations, games, or activities. So I hit every single one of these symptoms, plus more that I have that obviously aren't on this list. Things like the hyperactivity, and also there's a high percentage of comorbidity between ADHD and other mental illnesses such as anxiety and depression and things like that. And I certainly have other things like that. But yeah, I hit every single goddamn one of these things, and I hit every single goddamn one of these things at the age of 6, and I haven't stopped hitting every single one of these things on the list. So if you are watching and you have never been diagnosed with ADHD and you're suddenly going, hey, some of these things might be me, go talk to your doctor, because you can't get medication if you don't have an official diagnosis. Of course, I don't have medication, and I do have an official diagnosis, so what the fuck? Anyways, this information will be on the break and things. So being an adult with ADHD requires a lot of planning more than anything else, because I will lose track of just about anything, including my train of thought, if I don't have a very clear objective or goal going in. So with this stream, my objective was to go back to all of the games that I've tried to stream in the past and just failed. Like I streamed like I got 3 or 4 episodes in, got bored, stopped. And because I'm doing it every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the hope is that I will finish these games and also continue to stream them, because I'm now setting myself up with a schedule, and schedules are important for me. As I said a minute ago, I don't medicate. I do not have any amount of medication for my ADHD. When I was young, they put me on Ritalin, and it did not work. Well, it worked, but too much. I became a zombie, basically. I'm just like completely zoned out, couldn't pay attention to anything, and also had no energy. For some people, medicine works. For me, it doesn't. So I have to find alternative ways to cope with my ADHD, like turning everything I do into a show and streaming it on Twitch. How hard is DMing for me? Well, DMing is interesting because it's a creative process. So one of the things that one of my favorite descriptions for ADHD that I've ever heard was I can't think of his name. I can't think of the person's name, but it's a filmmaker that has ADHD. He's talking about how most people have a filter that prevents them from taking in too much information. Like if you're walking down the street of a crowded city, most of the time, most people will focus on their destination and what's between them and their destination. A person with ADHD will see every face of every person around them, note the color of their clothes and shoes, what they're carrying, what they're wearing, what they're doing, the street signs, all the cars around them, all the sounds, all the noises, all the smells, and won't be able to shut any of it out. So when I DM, I basically just, I can't. It's really hard to plan for when I'm DMing for our tabletop streams. So instead, I just have a loose structure of scenes that I want to happen, and I do my best to chain whatever my players are doing from one to the next to try to get to those scenes. And it's very, very loose and freeform, and I absolutely do not recommend it for anybody that can form multiple sentences in a row without getting distracted. But it's very improv. I take a very improv approach to my DMing. It is very difficult though. It's why I don't like DMing. It's why I don't like DMing new systems for the first time that I play them. Also why I haven't DM'd any World of Darkness stuff yet on the channel, because World of Darkness requires an amount of, or at least it seems like it requires an amount of cohesion that I can't quite acquire. But today we're playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I've tried to stream before in the past and failed. And I have plans for how to not fail this time. But I'm also not the only one here. So this is not a structured stream. This is not like I don't have... It's just me playing video games and chatting with you guys watching and chatting with anyone who might want to join in, such as L, who I have now unmuted in Discord, who is joining me. Say hi, L. Hang on, let me turn on my headphones. Let's try it again.
Hello.
There we go. Sorry, I had the headphones muted and I forgot to unmute. I unmuted you in Discord. I didn't unmute you in. This is exactly what ADHD is like, folks. It's just you try to, you can't do two things at once. But yes, Elle's gonna be joining me for at least today. Other people might join me in the future. It might just be me and you guys watching, but this is me, an adult with ADHD, trying to get anything done. So let's go ahead and go to the game. Which I am now going to try to balance audio-wise. Hopefully, it will not be louder than me and Elle. Hopefully, my capture card will not fuck up and crash. One of those things is happening. I'll give you a guess.
Well, I mean, I could try with the audio thing, but I don't know how much I can help with.
You go over there. You go over there. Alright. So, I have beaten this game as thoroughly as anyone can beat a game. To give you an to give you the data, max level, I have gotten every item, I have achieved every achievement, I have done everything. So playing it through on a stream is slightly difficult because, well, if you're just starting from the beginning with all the stuff, then you know, it's difficult to have a challenge. So instead of just playing through the game, I'm just gonna start a brand new game and play on hard mode the whole way through. And it's been a while since I've played this game, so I'm probably gonna die a lot. What is the Force in Star Wars, in my opinion? Thank you for distracting me. The Force is in Star Wars. The Force is just it's what it says in the tin. It is this cosmic energy source that connects everybody, and certain people can tap into it more readily than others. It's magic. It's the magic of Star Wars. It is what I refer to as ether in Gran Terra and things like that. All right, if I'm starting a new game, I can't play on hard. Oh well, I guess I'll just play on normal.
The live stream.
It's the live stream. Yes.
Trying to bring it back round for you.
Yeah, thank you. So, I first played Final Fantasy VII when it first came out. I remember seeing it... I remember seeing it in a Best Buy on a rack of import games. And desperately wanting it. And my older brother tried to convince me that I wouldn't like it because it was a turn-based RPG. That didn't work, obviously.
Fair.
Yeah, no, I have this Final Fantasy VII has been my favorite. It has been my favorite video game since I played it. I first played the demo. I remember we had the demo on a. This was back when you got demos on discs, from like the magazines in store. I would get my mom to buy me like Game Informer magazines and things like that from the store just because they had demo discs in the back. And so I first played the demo disc for this, and then I wanted to get the actual game because the demo was fantastic. The demo was just it was the reactor. It was no, it wasn't even that. The demo was a section that isn't even in this part of the remake. It'll hopefully be in the next part in the second part of the remake once they get it out. It's a part where you're actually crossing Mount Coral for the first time in the original game, and you're just fighting along a railroad track, and eventually you get to a big boss fight with a big bird, and that was it. But it was enough to fucking hook me.
I didn't even know they had a demo disc for Final Fantasy VII when it came out. Because I essentially just got the game like, oh, this looks like it might be interesting. Here you go. That was all the sort of the advertising I had.
Yeah.
But it's
yeah. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, no, I don't even know if the demo disc was universal, because I've heard other people have played different kinds of demos. Like I know someone else was talking about it, how they played a demo that was the reactor mission, the very first reactor bombing mission, which is what we're about to start.
God, I remember getting demo discs in boxes of cereal.
Yeah.
Well, not even demo discs, sometimes just full games.
Sorry, I love this music. I know people have like their favorite tracks from the Final Fantasy VII music, but I love all of it. An overview of the Final Fantasy lore. The lore of Final Fantasy is different depending on the game.
Tenuous at best.
So let's get through this cutscene and I'll talk more about it real quick.
Yes, I should be seeing it somewhere.
Oh, I should hit that button, shouldn't I? Sorry, it crashed and I forgot to re-up the stream on Discord.
Huh, good.
There you go.
Get down here, Merc.
Alright, music's so good. Hello, Cloud. So the best way to describe the lore of Final Fantasy is that in Final Fantasy VII, at least, which is what we're playing right now, the world runs on Mako energy. And we find ourselves in Media Res in the city of Midgar, which is the most technologically advanced and largest city in the world. Run by the Shinra Corporation, the Shinra Electric Company, who are a privately owned power corporation that built the city of Midgar, basically. Midgar has a governor, and it has like its own governmental processes, but effectively Shinra runs the place. It is, it's about as dystopian cyberpunk as you can get, really. It is in many ways more cyberpunk than Cyberpunk 2077. I do love Cyberpunk 2077 though. But in general, each Final Fantasy game, for the most part, is separate from the others. They have overarching themes that connect them all together. One of the things that embodies the later games, which is 5 and on, is that all of the Final Fantasy games have an emotional theme that runs through them. Sort of like a core concept that is then built on and extrapolated out into all the other various plots and themes. In Final Fantasy VII, that core theme is guilt.
Halt! Who goes there? You're up. You're coming with us. Nice and easy.
See, now, why do they just let him walk past?
I don't know. I don't know why they did that in the first game either. Like in the original game either. But they just,
I mean,
they just
'cause
like
it could be,
ignore Barrett as he goes by, and Cloud just, what's up?
Yeah, it's like just even give like a thing where like he's sort of flinching at them and like, ugh, like they're scared of him or something to make it make a little bit of sense.
Who in the hell? Hands where I can see him.
See, like that. That makes sense.
Yep.
Have fun.
Well, no, and like in the original game, Barrett would just like walk around the corner, and then these guards would come here with far too short an amount of time for them to have not seen him. That is Valdeth's sword.
Go ahead.
That is it's a big old sword.
So long. Oh, shit! That it?
I like so.
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm just such a purist that this just looks so wrong being sort of real time.
Drop the weapon.
I love it.
You got this.
It really feels like, playing it at least, it really feels like they extrapolated out the concept of the active time battle into what it would be like in a real-time setting.
You're coming with us. Can't get surrounded.
Where like where normally in a turn-based game you would be standing there heaving while waiting for your turn. In this, you are swinging your sword until you can use one of your more powerful abilities.
Yeah, I guess.
That's what it feels like to me, and that's part of why I enjoy it. And
So I think because I looked at it more as sort of a tactical thing, that like I've ended up gravitating towards strategy games and like roguelikes and things like that.
yeah, these lockers are kind of fucked, aren't they?
I mean, it's a train station. It makes sense to me.
Our train stations don't have lockers.
Yeah, but I've been in your train stations, and if they did, I could imagine them looking at least that bad.
But yeah, so we are Cloud Strife. We are a ex-soldier, soldier in all capital letters, because Shinra is very original. And there's a difference between a soldier and a soldier, other than the capital letters.
So what's Soldier Boy's deal? Is he one of us now? He's got balls, this, what was his name again?
Cloud Strife.
Right.
And he isn't a soldier anymore. Still, he's a professional, unlike the rest of us. I'm glad to have him.
I can't
This is a
I can't
one-time
look
gig.
at Biggs and not see
When it's done, we're done.
Charlie Sheen anymore.
Real joy to work with.
Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, like Biggs
That's
looks
what it'll look at,
identical
too.
to Charlie Sheen from I can't remember what movie, but
Looks are what people notice first.
like they did model him after Charlie Sheen too. So
I'd say you're not even reading the same book.
like it's not a
Not even the same.
Give it a rest.
Wow, they've almost got the door. We're doing this. We're really doing it. Man, I think I'm gonna be sick. You'll keep us safe, right, Cloud?
all right. I reached the end of his dialogue. Does Final Fantasy give a reason for melee existing in a world with guns? Yes! Melee is cool.
Come on, nobody do something this crazy just for money. They may not think you're a true believer, but you know what I think?
Not interested.
What?
Basically,
Wedge.
well, and really, in real life, melee weapons still exist. Like, people have batons and things, but,
You
people
better
using
keep working
giant
money,
swords
Mike.
like what Cloud
Every
uses is
last
mostly just
deal.
because they're cool and Cloud's awesome. And that's as far as they go.
Get him, boy!
Guess you're first. Let's get this over with.
This is one of the very few instances of me not feeling bad about killing dogs in a video game. Because fuck these dogs.
That's that. Looks like you're next. Burn. Let's go.
I do like that. If you stop to check that, chest, the fight happens again.
Not bad.
Back.
What?
I had some connection issues.
Oh. But all
But
dogs
this is because Australian internet.
Mask of Blackness says, but all dogs are good boys and girls. All dogs are good boys and girls. Fuck those dogs. I love dogs. I've lived my whole life loving dogs. Fuck those dogs.
This way.
Barrett's really angry about having to duck into this hole. Did you hear that growl?
Not so fast. We've got company.
So let him through the hole first, then.
Job's a job. Here we go. Time to burn.
Yeah. I have I enjoy cats, but I have a healthy respect for cats not giving a shit about me. It's like, I respect that.
Was never in doubt.
I had a cat for years until like she passed, and then I figured out how allergic I was.
Nah,
It's like, oh, I can breathe now. Shit.
I always thought it was just me. That's very similar to when I got a when I got my, so I was born with a deviated septum. Like your nose is made up of your your nose, and then the septum is the middle part, goes all the way back to your sinuses, and basically normally it should be straight, but mine was like this, so it was just like almost like 80% curved to one side. And when growing up, people were like, "Oh, you should blow your nose, blow your nose, blow your nose," and I'm like, I can't. It won't. I can't breathe, and it won't. Blowing my nose doesn't help. So, as an adult, it was very gratifying to finally get confirmed that I had that I had a deviated septum, and then B, to get it fixed and be able to breathe for the first time in my life. Of course, I still have a
That's that.
habitual sniff that I do, which was caused by living my life with a deviated septum and not being able to breathe. It's like when I do that, I will just constantly do that to try to clear my nose, even though I don't need to anymore. Just because until I was 26, I had an 80% deviated septum.
I mean, mine. I don't think mine was that bad, but it was along those lines. And I think I was a little bit older when I got mine fixed.
Come on, Cloud.
Pick up the pace.
So this is a Mako reactor.
Soldiers may attack on command, but I hear they make good guard dogs too. Bet you've seen a few reactors. So how do we get to the bridge above Mako storage? Ain't holding out on me, are you? Stamp scared to bite the hand that fed him? Or is he a loyal little doggy? Have it your way, Mutt. We can do this
Migraine.
with you, or we can do this without you.
Different reactor, different
Okay,
reactor.
do it without me
That's when it
then.
was built. Never
Like-
seen one like this, but I'll manage.
So, for those watching, a Mako reactor. So Mako is is a clean energy source. It is a thing that basically is sort of like a liquid, like a radioactive liquid, named after a shark. Yes. It's a clean energy. It's a clean sort of like translucent liquid energy source that can be fed into electronics or burned or crystallized, or there's any number of ways to utilize it. And Midgar runs off of, what is it, 8 Mako reactors? I think it's 8.
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah. 8 Mako reactors, each of which powers a specific section of the city. The city is sort of two levels. It's one large plate on large support pillars, which are separated into these 8 sectors, and then the undercity, which is below those large plates. And the Mako reactor sort of powers all of it. And we're gonna blow one up.
Don't you worry. Biggs will have the door open soon.
In 3, 2, damn, I'm good.
Because we're terrorists.
Door! We'll wait. It's over!
That's my line.
Well, no, he got locked out.
Yes, Biggs is here, as is Wedge.
Brace yourself.
For those that have seen our Star Wars Edge of the Empire game, I named a pair of robots Biggs and Wedge. Because Biggs and Wedge is a Star Wars thing, right? It's also a Final Fantasy thing. And it is exactly what you think it is. Final Fantasy names characters Biggs and Wedge in reference to Biggs and Wedge from Star Wars. They're recurring characters.
Simmer down, hot shot.
Well, the true OG gamers will remember when it was Vix.
It's a good thing I know someone who can get us the passcodes. Pity no one else at command will talk to us, but what can you do? And we're good.
And there's Jessie, aka Best Girl.
Careful in there.
Yes.
I got this place.
Biggs is here, and he looks like Charlie Sheen from... God, what is the movie? Can't think of what movie it is that
Well,
Charlie
what are you
Sheen is
waiting
in
for?
where he has a red bandana and is like a military guy. But... I mean, yes, Charlie Sheen does basically look the same throughout his entire career until he hits 60. But there's a very specific Charlie Sheen movie that Biggs is a reference to in this
Looks
game.
like the elevator's on another floor. Mind pushing that button?
Is it Platoon?
Yes, Platoon.
So, you know Tifa, right?
That's it.
It's not really my business, but are you guys close?
So in the original game, Cloud had sort of regular,
Cloud!
sort of
Are you ignoring me?
flashbacks / hallucinatory instances throughout the game, but they were too subtle.
Tifa and I.
I don't necessarily think they were too subtle, but the folks that were doing the remake clearly thought they were too subtle, because now they are full on flashbacks, not just him occasionally remembering a fragment of a sentence. Will the cliffhanging that Star Wars show ended on be resolved? Yes. Actually, we're planning on going back to the Twilight Nights after the season of Hunter that we're doing on Wednesdays.
We are currently investigating whether they belong to the same group that made the attempt on your life.
And it'll be picking up a
Rest assured,
a
our
period of
inquiries
time
will
after
not
their
take
capture.
Much longer.
This
Unless we do
sole
battle
purpose
droids.
is to drain the planet dry.
Yes, unless we do
While
battle
you
droids.
Sleep, while you eat, while you shit, it's here sucking up Mako. It doesn't rest and it doesn't care. You do realize what Mako is, don't you? Mako is the lifeblood of our world. The planet bleeds green like you and me bleed red. The hell you think's gonna happen when it's all gone, huh? Answer me! You gonna stand there and pretend you can't hear the planet crying out in pain? I know you can!
You really hear that?
Damn straight I do.
Get help.
Say that again.
I
Cloud
worry
here
less
being
about the
utterly
planet
dismissive.
and more about the next 5 seconds. Save the screaming for later.
But remember when games were good and not political?
Yeah, there's no politics in this game. That's literal. That like that.
Our lives are on the line now.
Barrett had that same speech in the original game. Just, I think he delivered it at a different
You
time.
listening, Merc? One false move. And that happens.
Well, so much for having Cloud do all the fighting. There are some places a sword just can't reach.
Name 3.
The sky,
Bear with him for me, would you?
the water,
Yeah.
more than 5
Should've
feet
asked for
away.
more money.
I would say that depends on the sword.
Oh, hey, Jack, you know how Gint has a gun for a hand now?
These tin cans ain't got nothing on me. Ah! Yeah! Ah! Ah! Get your ass out!
I'm just saying, we can go bigger.
Suck on this!
You will have to actually lose the hand, though. Yes, we are Avalanche is literally eco-terrorists.
Not political.
That blew my fucking mind when people are like, complaining about people putting politics in Final Fantasy VII. It's like, Avalanche has never not been eco-terrorists. They've been eco-terrorists
Did
the
they play
whole
the game?
time.
Nothing to it.
It's just like with the flashbacks. It's like, yes, they're subtle because they want to draw it out a little bit longer. And once you get to that point, it's no longer subtle because you understand it.
The
Yeah.
laser security system.
I can understand, particularly if you are doing what they're doing with this, which is expanding the game out so much, like mechanically, that you want to make those flashbacks less subtle.
The lasers. Make a move when they
And also the other thing they're doing with this, which we'll get into when we get later into the game.
Something like a little danger to get the
Um,
blood pumping.
Hey,
But yeah, it's like
Keep those baby
they're still fucking eco-terrorists. They never are. I do like that they play up the terrorism angle of Avalanche. In this, because they're like, because in the first game it was very much like a. I can't understand how some people might not have understood that Avalanche were terrorists in the first game, because all you see is
You're doing
like 2 screens of consequences for their for them blowing up the Mako reactor. Like, you see the immediately after, where they blow up the Mako reactor and there's just like a door with some fire coming out of it, and then there's this screen immediately after that where people are running around confused and there's a little bit of debris, and that's it. That's the entirety of the consequences of their terrorist action.
Like, yeah, even the background illusions are less involved.
Yeah. So they definitely, and then like after that point, the fact that Avalanche, the terrorist group, is basically, like set dressing. It's no longer actually relevant.
not a scratch. No?
Austin says, I think when you are 7, you ignore the politics and all the memories are through the veil of 7-year-old memories. I mean, yeah, that's exactly what's happening, is that, oh god,
They can wipe out a whole
my
squad
green
in
screen's going
seconds.
crazy.
not if you.
That's exactly what's happening, is people are like, oh, I remember it being this sort of fun cyberpunky tabletop, or not tabletop, turn-based RPG.
Ah! We can take this hunk of junk.
That hunk of junk is a heavy weapons platform.
The game said it was going to suspend itself in 15 minutes, like
Is that
an hour ago, and it still hasn't, so I'm just going to believe that's a lie.
That should give us an opening. Don't overdo it.
Guess it's my turn.
Also, apologies for my green screen. There's a window right over here that is bringing light in, and it's like
Let's pin it down.
Curse you, furious Daystar.
Cheh.
Of course. It just had to get back up.
So we knock it down again. No time to complain.
See, I hated the stagger mechanic in 13.
Yeah.
Shit hurts, don't.
I didn't mind it. It's actually one of the few things about 13 that I enjoyed. And I am a
See, I liked the story.
well, I'm a 13 apologist. I don't think the story is as bad as people think it is. I don't think it's the best Final Fantasy story, but I don't think it's nearly as bad as you make it out to be.
But then again, I also hate 12 for just basically being a single-player MMO.
Soldier first class. Doesn't go into the 20s.
What the hell you talking about? I mean your age, not your goddamn rank.
I love this interaction.
For all I know, a soldier's rank could be the same as his age. Mm-hmm. Guess that
Any in-game evidence of what minigun arms said? Which part?
Is there any in-game evidence? What? Yeah. Which part of what Barrett said? Mask of Blackness. That Shinra is sucking up Mako and killing the planet. Yes, there's a lot of in-game evidence of that.
A non-zero amount.
Yes. Yeah. So slight spoilers, but yes, Mako is literally the lifeblood of the planet that they have. The planet has something called the life stream. And what the life stream is basically the life stream is basically the Force. Everything is born from the life stream and then dies and goes back to the life stream. It's sort of this endless cycle of death and rebirth throughout the planet. And the life stream powers all of that. Mako is what happens when you punch a hole deep enough into the earth to get to the life stream and you suck it out and refine it into a power source.
Yeah, imagine just hooking yourself up to a blood-powered generator.
Yeah.
That's our target, the reactor core.
Mako is a stand-in for oil. In a lot of cases.
Let's get down there.
It's just that we are not born from and then return to oil when we die.
Well, I mean, depending on your perspective, because the spiritualistic religions have essentially the same type of belief.
I mean, yeah. I guess when we decompose, we do become a little oily too.
Scared, huh?
more like excited. I've been dreaming about this for years.
Heads up, boys. The end's in sight.
Yeah, it took me embarrassingly long as a child to realize what Phoenix Down actually meant.
What do you mean?
In that downy feathers and the pre-feather fluff.
The down of a phoenix.
Yeah, because I'd never heard down used in that way until I was a fair bit older.
All right, I had to adjust my green screen there.
Yep. Using soul energy for electricity? Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But when people, when the soul sort of work the way it's meant to, it just keeps cycling. When they use it for electricity, it stops cycling.
It goes away.
It just goes.
Yeah, no. Final Fantasy VII has and has always had a very strong anti-industrial message.
That's that. It's on you.
All right, watch and learn. Ain't no thing.
Jeez, for someone who said he could do this alone, he's relying on Cloud an awful lot.
No. The pump is back up. No.
I'm very happy that all the enemies look like what they were designed to look like in the original. Even the stupid monodrives.
I could have done that on my own.
Sure you could.
Cyberpunk is almost always anti-industrial. Yes, it is. Can you do this? Can you do this a solo gun hand run? You can play on. You can always switch to Barrett or just only play as Barrett. You can't, unfortunately, remove Cloud from the party though. Also, the boss would be very difficult to beat with just Barrett. Barrett does so. Cloud does a lot more burst damage. Barrett's damage is small but sustained. Yeah, that's Mako. That's refined soul juice.
Drink it in, man.
Don't drink it; it's toxic.
Yeah, but so's seawater, and yet...
That's why you don't drink seawater.
Oh, don't. Okay.
Jack, it tastes... I
All
believe
right.
it tastes
Let's
like
see if
Tide
Little
Pods.
Stamp really can bite the hand that feeds. Go on, do the honors.
My stream feels like
Prove to
thick,
me
wet
what a
send
man
tweet.
says you are, that you're one of us.
Never said I was. I'm just here for the paycheck.
Then do the damn job.
Barrett's so angry.
I imagine it's minty. That just could be the luminescent green, though.
Yeah. No, it definitely tastes like laundry detergent. Headache!
What's wrong?
Maybe oil of wintergreen.
I'm fine. What about the timer?
Your call, Merc. Pretty cocky, ain't you?
20 minutes is plenty of time. Also because, unlike in the original game, it doesn't start until the end of this boss fight. Thank fuck.
Yeah.
Heads up.
What in the hell?
Remember, attack while its tail is up,
How the hell do we get this thing?
It's got reinforced
and it will
armor,
counter.
but the internals can be overloaded. Lightning magic.
We hit the wrong button.
No other option, huh?
I feel like that flashback was fairly subtle, Austin. It's just a feather. If you don't know who Sephiroth is, it means nothing to you. Oh god. Oh god. I'm about to die. I'm about to die!
Gotta heal up.
No, like I said earlier, I think, yes, the flashbacks are definitely way less subtle than they were in the original game. I can understand the opinion that the original game's flashbacks were way too subtle.
Got anything you want to say?
I don't necessarily agree,
Ask for help.
but I can understand that, seeing it that way. As, god damn it, now every time the sunlight comes through my window, my green screen fucks up.
See, that's why you have the secret tech of it being 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Aha.
Uh-huh.
Don't just stand there. Help me out, damn it.
Yeah, because, like, honestly, and I don't necessarily mind this,
Even know
but
how to use materia?
Of course I know how to use material. What kind of stupid question is that? Wait
I don't necessarily mind it, but like, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of the like subtle storytelling that happened in the original game that was so subtle I didn't get it until I had beaten the game 3 times. which isn't necessarily bad, but different tastes, and they are doing a different thing with this remake than the original game was doing. So I understand, wanting to clear up a few things.
Yeah, it's a remake, not a remaster,
Yes.
unfortunately.
And even then, it's a remake in a different sense of the word remake. Green screen, stop it. Hang on. There we go. I have to keep adjusting my green screen while the sun keeps deciding how much it wants to come in the window.
A barrier? Never seen this defense system before.
Thought you were the expert.
So what's your brilliant plan, genius?
To retelling more than remake. I actually, that is a way of describing it, but I think remake suits it better than retelling for reasons that I will get into later in the game.
Focus and find a way.
But retelling is not inaccurate.
Like, I haven't played it, I've only seen, ironically, your initial streaming of this. But from what I know, it's like they were advertising, it's like, oh, this is the story that we meant to tell all along. It's like, oh, no, because that doesn't make any sense. It would be impossible to make that story because of things that happen.
I don't recall that ever being the advertising. I'm not saying that wasn't. I just don't recall that being the advertising.
More shooting.
How about less lift from you?
I mean, maybe I was coming at it from a cynical perspective, but
get
that
up
was
in the cloaca.
definitely one of the talking points.
Get up in the cloaca. Ow.
I ain't going down fighting a goddamn scorpion. Ain't done yet. Suck on me. God damn it. This thing is tough.
It wouldn't be much of a weapon if it went down easy. There. Attack it from the rear.
There we go.
Soldier boy, show me what you got.
Yeah, but I like I said, I'm not saying they didn't use that line in their marketing. I'm just saying I never heard that line in their marketing.
No, fair.
Damn it. Need to heal up soon. Deal with that.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Camera, please. Camera, please. The real enemy of any modern day
Keep going. If I heal up.
video game. The camera.
See, now if it was a traditional turn-based RPG like we all wanted,
Not good. Patch yourself up.
Honestly, yeah. Like I would have been happy. I would have been happy if it was just a high quality remake of the original game, same mechanics and everything. But honestly, I like this better.
Damn it.
I like what we got better.
fair. And so that's the thing, not everything has to be for everyone. So
Yeah.
if I don't like it, that doesn't change the fact that you do.
Exactly. And if people want the original experience, but in a more high definition quality, that's what the modding community is for. Is a soldier like a corporate Captain America? Yes, exactly. The soldier program was basically Shinra wanting to make super soldiers. Ow.
It is a shame, though, that when this game came out, Square went around to everyone's house and took their old copies.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was the thing It was always weird. But yeah, no, like the original games exist. I still have them. I still have it on 3 consoles. And the modding community is great. I actually have a version of the original Final Fantasy VII that has like high definition models and backgrounds and everything.
I tried, but there's only so much it can do, I think.
Taking over. Don't just fight. Adapt. Let's do this.
You know, let's save // for when the field generator's down. Damn it!
Don't overdo it.
Hell yeah, baby!
Now's our chance. Give it everything you've got. Hang back. Gotta heal up. Any last words?
Have I played Pathfinder Kingmaker before? Yes, I have played Pathfinder Kingmaker.
You don't want to be hit by that laser.
In fact, that's one of the games I'm going to be playing on this stream. Not obviously not today, but that's one of the games I'm going to be playing on the ADHD stream because there's a whole bunch of like DLC stuff for it that I've got that I've never played, and I tried to play it before previously, and I couldn't make myself do it. So I'm like, well, that's exactly what the conceit of the ADHD stream is, isn't it?
Here we go.
Making myself do things that my ADHD wouldn't let me do. Ow, ow. You know, Kingmaker...
You seem hungry. Please insert bullet.
No, I'm not that hungry.
Need to heal up soon.
Barrett, please chug an ether.
You were saying about Kingmaker?
Play a evil character? I might. Yes. So yeah, Pathfinder Kingmaker has a DLC that I have never played. It's like story DLC that I've never played. So I'm like, it's one of the games that I want to play on the stream. So yeah, a thing that L referenced earlier. There's a famous. It's not even a mistranslation. It's just a bad formatting thing that happened with the original Final Fantasy VII fighting this boss. When it raises its tail laser and starts charging, in the original you're supposed to not attack it, because if you attack it, it'll counterattack. But the way the text in the original game was formatted, you could only get bits of a sentence at a time. And so the sentence was, attack when its tail is raised and it will counterattack, which would indicate that you shouldn't attack when its tail is raised. This is a long boss fight. But when you played the game, all you saw was attack when its tail is raised. It will counterattack. So by the time you saw that the full message was it'll counterattack if you attack when its tail's raised, you had already attacked and got the shit kicked out of you.
Need to do something about these wounds. It's readying that laser. Don't try to run for it.
You neither, Bert.
Yeah, good thing they didn't start the bomb.
Right? I mean, it would have already
How
blown
long's
up.
left
And
on
we'd
the
be dead.
timer?
We would already be dead.
It's just like, oh, how long's left on the timer? 3. What do you mean 3? 2.
Here comes the laser.
I know. All I gotta do is hide, right?
If you know, then do it.
Stuck in Punisher mode. I couldn't move. Yes, I am scared of the giant tail laser. I don't feel like that's something to be ashamed of, Barrett.
Look, I do want to die at a very old age.
Oh god, we hit the fire everything button.
Not a repair unit. Damn it. We gotta take it out quicker, we're screwed.
You'd think if it had an auto repair unit, it would have used it way the fuck earlier.
You just turned it on from the beginning.
Yeah.
You spot an opening.
That's not typically how that works. Although I'm not an expert.
Rain hell on you.
Ain't gotta tell me twice.
Brace yourself.
If Mako's soul juice wouldn't blowing it up hurt the planet, it's already been extracted from the live stream.
Oh, you in for it now?
So it's not, the planet has already been hurt by this point. Blowing up the Mako just means that Shinra won't profit off of the pain they've already caused. Which is not to say that it's necessarily the best idea.
Shit, the bomb!
20 minutes until detonation.
You hear that? Damn thing showed you how it's done.
Come on, we've gotta move.
Now, I did like the effect of the, of it exploding in the Mako,
Yeah.
because it's very Final Fantasy X to me.
Yeah.
And I assume that's an intentional reference from the designers, but you never can tell.
Well, there were several intentional references back to Final Fantasy VII in Final Fantasy X.
Give me a break.
So much so that people think that it's the same world at different times.
Yeah. Which it isn't, because that's not how these games work, but it's fun theory. Ow.
That it?
Oh, right, I can run. I have a run button.
Yeah, but the image of you just casually sauntering out as everything explodes around you is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Cool guys don't look back or run.
Well, time to casually pole bar over this way.
You okay?
Some people were mad that you couldn't leave Jesse to die here.
You couldn't in the original game.
Hey!
You could,
we'll link up
couldn't
over
you?
there. Look after Jesse.
No, because she has one of the codes to get back out. So even if you did leave her, you'd have to go back down and get her and then come back.
Ha 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 ha.
This route should lead us straight to Barrett. Probably.
But that was like a relationship point thing.
I think I see an exit. Come on.
It's like, did you save Jesse on your first trip through the reactor, or did you have to go back? If you did, you get +2 with Barrett.
Jessie is best girl, yes. Jessie is the only girl in this entire game that knows exactly what the fuck she wants. And that's Cloud's dick.
Sorry, it keeps me focused. I'll freak out if I don't talk.
Have it your way.
She knows exactly
Well, I was
what
gonna
she
say
wants
there's-
and how to get it.
I mean, there is another character, but I don't think it's in this section or the next even.
But then,
Don't worry, I'll be fine. I've got Soldier Boy with me.
X, Soldier Boy.
They're here! Take them down!
We don't have time for this shit. The clock's ticking.
Cool it. 5 seconds is all we need.
It's definitely been more than 5 seconds, Cloud.
That's that. Shit. See ya.
Let's go. The others are waiting. Gotta get the hell out of here ASAP.
Barrett, why are you at full health and why am I not?
Take the lead.
All right. Watch and learn. Get fire. Fuck on this. Ooh, gotta love it. Gonna make your outlaw.
I mean, if you had someone willing to meet Shield, would you let them?
Yeah. That's D&D 101, not the meat shields, meat shield. I play wizards.
I got this. Brace yourself. All right.
Yeah, but I play bards and I never have to worry about the bard rules.
Austin says, "I've made a wizard meat shield before. It's odd. I figured out how to make a muscle wizard in 5e, and I'm really excited to if I ever get the chance to play it."
That was nothing.
And I don't mean like grapple wizards or anything like that. I mean like a wizard that uses all of their magical powers to enhance their own combat capabilities, rather than to cast like throw fireballs or throw lightning bolts. So it's like it's all like, you know, basically a series of different kinds of spells that build up to like Tensor's transformation and things like that.
Monoclass?
Yeah, monoclass. Wizard all the way. I really like, you know, like I like watching anime like Fairy Tail and Black Clover, and in those they always have, you know, where when magic's so ubiquitous everyone uses it, so you have all different kinds of spellcasters. And so it's like, I really like the idea of spellcasters that fill different roles than what they're supposed to. Let me fix my green screen again now that the sun's decided to calm the fuck down.
Ithram is the best wizard I have ever seen. I mean, maybe, but it's a shame that the recording where I played Bweet got lost.
Ithram's a lot of fun. Cody does a good job with Ithram. I can't wait until if the players of that game ever go to visit Ithram's folks. I have definitely built out the rest of Ithram's legion.
Calling fire. Going in. Not that.
Not bad. He does. Excuse me while I chug some potions real quick.
I mean, no better time for it.
Really? Yeah. I wish I had a potion like here in real life. They sold them for a while, but I cannot find them anywhere. I don't think they sell them in the States anymore. I don't know if they sell them anywhere anymore.
It's on you.
Need my help, do you? That's enough! Ain't no thing.
$90 on eBay. Final Fantasy VII 10th Anniversary Limited Edition with potion and book.
That's not what I'm talking about. No, they had like an energy drink that they sold for a while called Potion.
Ah.
Yeah. I think they might
That
still
would-
sell it in Japan, but I don't know if they do.
So that would be this canned one that is 350 milliliters.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's the one from Crisis Core that looks like it definitely needs a flared base.
It's over. No time to celebrate.
Yeah, no, there are a bunch of, like, you know, game tie-in energy drinks that they made, Austin. But the potion one was specifically Final Fantasy. Wait, there were still like 10 minutes left on that timer. I think this video game might be lying for dramatic effect.
No.
Sir.
You guys are bad at setting timers. Fair. So I really like this. What we're seeing now is Shinra assisting the Avalanche goons in blowing up their own Mako reactor. Which was a thing they did in the original game, but was never made clear.
Come on.
I think one person, like one NPC, kind of obliquely mentions it on a later mission in the original, but
Jesse,
like you would have to go out of your way.
yeah, Jesse mentions that the bomb blew up way bigger than it should have, and you can find information on it in the Shinra Tower later on.
Yeah, one of Mayor Domino's guys.
Yep.
But that's basically it.
And it's very easy to completely miss the fact that Shinra blew up their own Mako reactor in order to make Avalanche look bad. And that's because the whole fact of Avalanche being a terrorist group basically got dropped after the first mission.
Okay, that was pretty cool. All right, come on.
Well, I am a super soldier.
The taste of potion was said to be inspired by Sephiroth and his isolationism and beauty.
So yeah, we just did a terrorism. Oopsie. It's okay. Surely the government won't come after us because we're white.
Looks like
Oh wait, Barrett. Fuck.
and with nothing but a few scratches to show. Think you might have overdone it?
I followed the instructions to the letter. Maybe it triggered a reaction with the Mako?
Well, let's hope the city's still in one piece.
But the
Now,
planet's what
would you
matters.
want the actual drink or just the containers?
I would actually want to. I would actually like to try
This
this.
must have helped some.
It is bleeding.
After all that, it had better have.
Deal with that.
Anyway.
Okay, so that's $230.
Just down there.
Wait, blowing up gasoline is explosive? Never.
Lead the way.
You got it. Huh. Watch out for live wires. They're everywhere.
There's literally one. Sorry, two.
The air in here reeks. Can't wait to get out in the open.
Well, 3 if you count Motley Crue.
Man, what is that? I've never smelled anything so foul. Oh, it's me. Gotta do something about that. And soon.
Comedy.
Why would you narrate that?
Because it's pigs.
I felt that one in my guts.
They just keep on coming.
We need to get out of this place.
Was it the Mako density? The primary explosive? The blasting agent?
Hey, we can figure that out later.
I'm running on empty here.
You can refuel at the base.
Next time I'll have to bring a little pick-me-up.
How
But
much
yeah,
longer
that's
do we
like
have to
just
go?
walking along, just going down the street. It's like, oh, my leg hurts. I think I shit myself. Yep, definitely did. Oh boy.
That's about as good a place as any.
I mean, wouldn't you narrate that?
Can't wait to see you.
I would.
Not particularly, no.
Shower.
Always bring snacks to the eco-terrorist activities. Yeah.
Well,
Which I've got a
you have to go round. Yeah, you have to go round in groups to make sure that no one's always responsible for the snacks.
Yeah.
It's a sharing activity.
Fire in the hole!
You sure you want to trust Jesse with that after what just happened?
You sure told those doors.
Yeah, again, it's like a little bit of realism.
Wait, was Cloud in charge of the snacks? Probably. That's why there weren't any.
Attention all citizens. Attention all citizens. This is an alert from the Shinra Emergency Operations.
Cloud does have chronic memory issues.
Unidentified intruders have detonated a bomb inside Mako Reactor 1. Multiple explosions have been confirmed, as well as ongoing fires. In response, a disaster warning has been issued in sectors 1 and 8. Structures in the area are at high risk of collapse, rendering the entire sector hazardous. Therefore, all residents of such
No. No way.
Yes way.
This couldn't have been us, could it?
No, Biggs. Someone else planted a bomb in the Mako reactor and blew it up.
Merc's right. It ain't pretty, but we can't stop now. This was just the first reactor, and the planet won't be safe till we get the rest.
Yeah. We always knew this was gonna get messy.
And this is only the beginning.
Y'all gotta look at the bigger picture here. Nothing worth fighting for was ever won without sacrifice.
I'm sure no one evil has ever said that line in the history of people saying lines.
But it's okay, cause I'm here for you, to help take the load off your shoulders.
I do like that the like I'm poking fun at it a little bit, but genuinely, this is a good scene for Barrett.
And yes, your fees.
Because it shows that it shows why he's a leader.
So, what's our next move?
Even if it does sound a little bit cultish.
I mean, absolutely, it is absolutely very cultish. But in the original game, there was really never any evidence of why they followed Barrett. Like, Barrett had a couple of speeches, but there was never really like. It was never made clear why Barrett was able to convince so many people to help him blow the fuck up out of Mako reactors. And they sort of give him this scene in here and give him that chance to be this charismatic leader figure. And I think that's great. I think that of all the changes, there are a lot of changes. I think that's one of the best ones. Is actually giving Barrett the chance to talk. But we're gonna take a quick break because my leg is bleeding and I need to go deal with that. So if you're watching, stay tuned for these commercial messages. Also, get up and stretch yourselves. We'll be back in just a few minutes, where we will continue through we will go through the consequences. Back in a
Dun
minute.
dun dun.
We're back. Grab something to eat while I was on break, and I don't know if any of you watching have ever experienced a Red Robin's, that being the restaurant. But they have a thing called chocolate fruffles, which are a long stick of fudge coated in dark chocolate and sprinkled with salt. And I think maybe like a caramel glaze or something like that. They're fucking delicious.
Huh.
I guess it's like a fudge brownie, I guess. Austin says Red Robin's is the best restaurant for people with dietary issues. But it's like a long thin brownie, I guess, coated in chocolate and salt and a little bit of caramel. They're addictively delicious.
See, if you changed the salt for like little rice crispy things, it's basically a Chiquito if you ever come to Australia.
They give you raspberry. I don't know. I didn't get a dipping sauce with a raspberry dipping sauce. I didn't get a dipping sauce with mine, but even without that, they're still delicious. I need to go to Australia at some point, if only because I understand that I can breathe down there.
It depends on time of year. During Christmas, when all the bushfires are, not so much.
When everything's not on fire, I can breathe down there. Because you apparently don't have any of the trees or plants that produce the pollen that I'm allergic to. Again, I don't know why my PlayStation keeps telling me that it's going to shut down this game and then not shutting it down. Anyways. Let's save our game data. We'll save it. Georgia's a hotbed of terrible allergens. It's true. It's true. So, now we get into... I think this is my favorite change in the entire game. And I mean that as a, like, I love this game. This is a different game from the original Final Fantasy VII, if anybody's under illusions that it's not. It is a different Final Fantasy VII. But of the bits that they brought over and then changed, this next part is my favorite. Which is the aftermath of our terrorism.
Again, not political.
Later then.
Hey, I'd like my money now.
You can have it once we're back at base.
So again, in the original game, there were two basically scenes after the bombing. There was this scene over here with this door that was constantly spouting fire in the original, where they sort of talk about, you know, what we're going to do next. Let's head back to base. All right, everybody split up, head back to base, go.
With a comedy scene of Wedge's ass being on fire.
Yes, with the comedy scene of Wedge's ass being on fire, which gratefully does not exist in this one. Wedge is still a comedy character in this, but he's less of the comedy is at his expense. I say less because there's still some, but... And we get this. No.
I don't need to tell you what this is, right?
Of course not. It's healing materia.
You can have it for saving my life.
Just doing my job. Nothing more.
Yeah. Fact is, I'm lucky you were there.
The only thing I'm allergic to is codeine, which is a type of medicine, says the Mask of Blackness too. The only things, like, one of the only things I'm allergic to is alcohol, which is a different type of medicine.
Words to live by.
Austin's also allergic to alcohol.
Yeah.
It would kill him if he had a drink.
You do know how to use it,
Yep.
right?
You do know what I was, right?
So let's talk about materia. Since Jesse just gave us the handy little healing materia. Materia is what happens when the life stream and Mako energy specifically naturally secretes. So, like, Mako isn't inherently... Yes, Jesse is great, John Locke Cole. Mako is not inherently bad for the planet. The planet creates it naturally. And in those instances, it sort of solidifies into materia, which are bits of spirit and soul that we can slot into our equipment that give us access to magic. So here I've got fire and healing. So I can cast Cure, and I can cast Fire. The difference between this and what the reactors are doing is that the reactors are doing this en masse. It's like rather than finding a place where oil has ruptured the ground and is starting to pool on the surface, which would be what materia is. Mako reactors are like, deep sea oil drills, where they're going down and into areas that you're not where wouldn't normally be able to access.
Or to continue with the body metaphor, if the generator made out of blood is for the reactors, the natural materia is like earwax.
Yes.
Okay, I was only trying to help. Oh, before I forget, here's a little something extra for being so brave. That really was the ride of a lifetime. Well, see you on the train.
I got that for setting the timer to 20 minutes instead of 30. So yeah. So this is a scene that was missing from the original game, which I feel contextualizes much better what Barrett is willing to do to save the planet. John Locke Cole says, and they're not doing the sensible drilling thing where you replace the volume of material one for one with water, so boy howdy are they going to get some sinkholes. Yeah, you know, right?
Now, can you mechanically run in this scene, or is it forcing you to walk through it?
I can absolutely be like, fuck you and your tragedy! Yeah, I could absolutely just like pell-melt through this crowd of confused, disoriented people who have lost everything. But I like to walk.
Yeah, because that feels like a little bit of a misstep. It's like force you to walk through all this and have all the audio playing and like force you to sort of confront it a bit.
Yeah, I understand why, because again, you don't really want to remove that agency from the player to be this raging asshole that just sort of, but you're sort of getting bits and pieces of the conversations that are happening. And like so Barrett's argument is basically like, the Cloud is a bit of an asshole. Absolutely. Cloud is an asshole. And like for Cloud, this is just like, I don't really care. I'm just going to run through. It's for the player that we have the ability to walk rather than run. But yeah, like, Barrett's position is that if we don't stop Shinra from sucking the planet dry, everyone will die. And that's not a lie. That's not incorrect. That is very much correct. But we then have to ask, we're sort of forced to ask, what are we willing to do to stop that from dying? And that's where it gets into that what you said earlier, Elle, where they sort of starts to sound like a cult. Where it's like, sacrifices have to be made kind of arguments.
Yeah, it's like if stopping them from killing the world means that you have to do it first, is that the right call?
Yeah. And Cloud doesn't really care to answer that question right now.
It's the ultimate "you can't fire me, I quit."
Now, if this flashback had stopped there, it would have been perfect. This, I feel, goes a little bit farther than they needed to.
Yeah, just a bit.
Like, everything's on fire, Cloud has a PTSD flashback to when everything was on fire the last time, and sees Sephiroth, and that's the first time we see him. That's great. That is absolutely fantastic. That sets up Sephiroth. That sets up, what's going on with this guy's head. That's great. The PTSD stumble through alley following a hallucination of Sephiroth afterwards is a little much. Particularly because they do the thing, they do the tinnitus ring, which is what that sound is. Which hurts because I actually have tinnitus. And so it just resonates.
And, I mean, realistically, you're not going to go through even the first part of the remake and not get that shot.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like, I understand why they chose to extend this little flashback sequence out. Because they are setting up Sephiroth much earlier in this game than they did in the previous one. But I think it would have been better served. I don't dislike this, to be clear. But I think it would have been better served if it had stopped back there. Yeah, me too. Tonight is the bitch. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you need not remind me. It was the crowning moment of our time together. But that was then, and this is now. I have a favor to ask. Our beloved planet is dying. Slowly. Silently. Painfully. Can you bear to see the planet suffer? Cloud. Were the planet to die, so many things would be lost. Your hometown burns so bright. The sound of her voice.
I do like that Sephiroth lays out here, basically, is that I don't want the planet to die, because if the planet dies, I can't stop fucking with you. Like, I can't keep fucking with you. You need to save the planet so I can keep fucking with you.
Now, you did mean to add with there, didn't you?
Yes, fucking with you.
Okay.
Run, Cloud. Run away. You have to leave. You have to live.
Because, like, watching this, I can kind of see where all the fanfic comes from.
Oh yeah.
Good, Cloud. Very good.
Now I will say, for as unnecessary as I think this part is, Sephiroth does fucking do a really good job in this scene. Like, it's an unnecessary scene, but it's still a good scene. Which at the very least, like, if you have unnecessary narrative beats, at least put them together well.
You got this.
Which they did, so. Ah, and there's Aerith's music. Oh, what's the name of this song? Oh, we'll get into it as we go, JLC. What is what's this song?
I can't quite hear it. Let me.
It's one of
turn it
Aerith's.
up a
It's
bit.
one of Aerith's themes.
This place got hit too? What's going on? Thought I was a goner.
It's like those who are one with the planet or something like that.
Oh, those who can hear the cry of the planet?
That's it. That's it. That's the song. Yes.
It's a strange orchestration. I couldn't really pick it out.
The explosions at the reactor have caused numerous ongoing fires. Many homes are at risk. It is not safe to remain indoors. Please leave your residences at once.
But then again, like, my favorite songs are basically nowhere near anyone's top 50. So,
An evacuation order has been issued to the occupants of buildings in the vicinity of the Sector 8 Expressway. You are advised.
Yeah, if it's too quiet, I can turn it up.
no, I had the stream turned down a bit.
It is not safe to remain indoors. Please leave your residences at once. I repeat.
Man, what a mess.
This is an alert from the Shinra Emergency Operations Center. Evacuation order has been issued to the occupants of buildings in the vicinity of the Sector 8 Expressway.
What do we do then?
You are advised to vacate the area immediately. The explosions at the reactor have caused numerous ongoing fires. Many homes are at risk.
Mom, we want to get our toys. Not now. I'm sorry.
But we can get them later, right?
I repeat.
Right?
Sure you can. After this is
an
all over.
alert from the Shinra Emergency Operations Center. An evacuation order has
That did not sound like a child.
Did to me. The ones that were children.
The station? We'll take that.
I
Put you right on the street.
Because it was that was a pair of parents and their two children.
yeah, and the ones that were meant to be children didn't sound like children to me.
It did to me.
Yeah, fair. I mean, you would be the expert, so
I do have two children.
I have seen at least two children.
That interaction right there is particularly hard for me too. It's the kids that don't know what's going on, and they just know that they're missing their toys, and the parents are desperately trying to not freak them out, but also keep them safe. And like that being the direct result of my actions. That's really good. That is very good. That's part of why I think that scene, that whole area right there, is probably the best change that they've done so far. Because, again, it really emphasizes the cost of what Barrett and Avalanche is doing. Alright, but now we're here.
Don't let the intruder escape. You must be close.
The area near the expressway is still extremely dangerous.
And this is the first sign that something's not right. Not in universe, but with the game. Is being a parent with ADHD harder? I don't know. I don't know what it's like being a parent without ADHD. I know that it is hard being a parent in general.
Hey, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Here, this is for you.
Huh? A flower?
That's right. It's a gift. You know, for scaring those things away.
What things?
Never mind. Think of it as a memento.
Just
That is very bad business.
I heard that.
Harris has never been a good businesswoman.
How much?
Well, that depends on the customer. In your case, it's on the house.
Huh?
Lovers
Which
used to give these
is
when they
different
were
from the
reunited.
first game where it was one gil.
Look, I'm involved in things. Dangerous things.
Oh, I'm sure you are.
Well, John Locke Cole, we were actually talking about that earlier.
So keep your distance.
That's not a change.
Wait. you think someone's out
So
to get
John
you?
Locke Cole
Is that what
says
you're all
that
worked
the
up
scene where
about?
Shinra explicitly makes the damage bigger to be the worst change.
No one's
That's not a
trying to attack
change.
you.
They did that in the original game. It just wasn't ever clear.
Hey, a Mako reactor blue. You shouldn't be out here trying to self.
All they did here was make it more explicit that they did that, rather than leave it to you to find out 30 hours later in the game.
What are they?
Drop your weapon!
Are you blind?
You know,
Now, I do agree that, you know, making Shinra blow up the reactor
Wait!
narratively has both good and bad, like, sort of has pros and cons to it. And overall, I think making them have a hand in blowing up the reactor probably serves to lighten the burden a little bit too much on Avalanche. I will agree with that.
Let's do this. That's
Especially because Avalanche never finds out that Shinra did that.
enough.
So like it's functionally pointless as far as the in-universe narrative goes. All right, there's some materia over here I need to grab.
All right. That's that. Let's finish this. Burn.
But yeah, like
Was never in doubt.
the Avalanche never finds out that Shinra did that, to the point where a lot of players didn't know that Shinra did that in the original game. Ah, yes. Hip up.
If you need to access the train station, please take a detour and avoid the plaza near the expressway. Train services may be suspended without warning. Should this occur, your patience and understanding are requested. I repeat.
Imagine getting hip hop this early in the original game. Yeah, I know, right?
I think Junon's the earliest you can get it.
Yeah,
Originally.
Junon's the earliest you got it in the original game. Do I have any other bangles to wear? No, I don't. How do I get my DLC stuff? Forgot. Ah, there it is. Also, the Superstar belt is just the Diva title. The old WWE Divas title.
I'm wondering if it's like actually based off like a Shimmer or Stardom title.
Maybe.
Like one of the Joshi feds.
Maybe.
But yeah, no, also fair.
Bird, not a butterfly. But I mean, yeah. It's obviously it's not exactly the same, but it definitely looks, to me at least, it looks like the Divas title. Had to put that on so I could set my hip hop materia. That's right. Some of the materia are separate from the rest of your gear. Carbuncle.
Yeah, I'm going to assume they don't do any tricks with Carbuncle like they did in 9.
They did tricks with Carbuncle in 9?
Yeah, if you had different gems equipped, it would have different skills.
Oh, that's neat. I didn't know that.
It's like, if you had either a ruby or nothing, you would get reflect.
If you see that. Sorry.
End that half, man.
Well, no, the grenadier fired a grenade, and I flipped over the grenade in the middle of the Braver animation. Sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, so they would have different gems doing different skills. So you could have a diamond and get, I think, like Vanish for a round or something like that.
Nice. No, they don't. They definitely don't do that.
Yeah. Emerald would do haste, I think. Can't remember.
Here we go. You're done.
Watch me in this man's career. Get off!
Oh, but you're so sweet and tasty.
Time to burn. Let's finish this. That's that.
Now remember, chat, if you see something funny or cool, clip it. That's the ticket.
Pair of power wrist guards. Increase strength by 5%. Oh man, I'm feeling 5% stronger.
Just give it up! Don't run!
Thank you, John Lockcall.
Here it comes.
That man just died.
Let's do this. Here we go.
I just shoved the sword in that man's guts and he died.
I mean, I think I would too, but... Again, not an expert. And funnily enough, I think I'm fine not knowing. Like, given the choice.
Me. Me.
No escape. Let's finish this. You're done. Time to get serious.
Don't let him escape! Give up!
Ground forces engaging target in Park Plaza. All nearby units converge and provide immediate support.
That's that. See ya.
Suppressing!
That's that. See ya.
I honestly thought there was going to be some sort of dialogue there, but no, just coincidence.
Which dialogue?
The guards just went, "Go to hell," and Klaus just went, "See ya."
Huh.
Almost thought he was going to say, "Well, I'll see you there."
I have a flower on my chest. The fact that it's still there is kind of impressive.
Yeah, especially with how much fire you've been casting.
And all the dodging I've been doing.
Real good leather, I guess, holding it in.
Yeah. I have to say, Shinra's like emergency response teams are really fucking quick to get a shelter set up this quickly.
Yeah. Which makes you wonder what it's actually for then, because it wouldn't be for that.
No. Also, imagine what they could do if they would stop, you know, chasing one guy and decide to actually help the people that were injured.
Over there! Open fire! Shoot to kill!
Yeah, but it's a private military company, not a private benevolence company.
Having a quick response to emergency makes you look good, which is important. It's true.
But having too much of a quick response costs too much money, which is bad.
That's why it's just a tent. There's nobody in there.
Yeah, they don't actually have to help, it just looks like it.
We look like we're helping.
Don't underestimate him.
Said don't underestimate me, but you're only approaching with 3 guards.
Don't underestimate him, they say underestimatingly.
So these guys are officers in the same way that like a beat cop is an officer, right? Because I feel like they haven't gone to college.
Confirmed. Target has entered residential area. Full lockdown is in effect. All units.
Yeah, all the military power that Shinra has is you know, that's just a small subcontractor. That's not really the core thrust of what Shinra is.
Supposedly.
We're an electric company. I do still want to run a game, and I might do that in one of these early time slots. I want to run a like a Shadowrun or a D&D game or something where the player characters are members of the Shinra. They're like Shinra troopers.
I might be available then.
Here we go. Not bad.
Specifically, they're Shinra troopers assigned to Sector 8. Oh, sorry. No, they're Shinra troopers assigned to Sector 7. That's right. 7's the one that drops. Because we know that Shinra didn't warn any of the troopers that they were going to drop that plate on.
Oh, God, no. Can you imagine being the kind of being the guy who's like, oh man, Sector 5 again? Look, I'll trade anyone for 7. Just that one day.
I see you have your character concept already, El.
I mean, I do now.
Yeah, man, that Corneo guy is just a real fucking creep. I didn't want to be around him anymore.
Look, have you seen what's left of his hair?
It looks like Donald Trump when he got fed through a blender.
You're mine.
See, you're allowed to make those jokes. I'm not. I can joke about the ones that went swimming and never came back.
Get ready.
He's not the president anymore.
Was never in doubt.
Yeah, I'm allowed to joke about prime ministers who went for a swim and may or may not have been kidnapped by Chinese submarines or drowned.
Like, submarine's definitely the hardest way to kidnap somebody who's going for a swim. Imagine the people who had the cushy patrols on top of the Sector 7 plate. Oh god, that would be even worse, wouldn't it? At least underneath the plate, you see it coming.
Oh, I sometimes get that stomach upset, like going in an elevator or like you would get on a roller coaster. Just that, but like 100 times worse.
You're just minding your own business, and all of a sudden the ground falls out from underneath you.
Oh, I hope I'm going someplace good.
Ah, God, that fight music. Give me more.
Stay down.
Wait, yeah, why don't they have any snipers? Pfft, get shot.
Time to burn.
Man with a sword ravaging our defenses. Let's engage up close. No one said Shinra troopers were smart, Austin.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 23 or more times. See, now I'm just hoping they would add like a retro mode or something to it for changing the music and sound effects.
Here we go.
I mean, Pokemon did that. Surely something this advanced could easily do it.
Dragon Quest XI did that. But only on, to be fair, only on the definitive edition, so maybe that'll be something they do once they... You know what? They will absolutely do that. Once they've released all the parts of it, when they release the compilation game, where it's all the parts put together, they will absolutely do a retro version of it.
Let's do this.
Out. Out. Stop
So
hitting
we have
me!
no armor. How are we surviving this? I mean, theoretically, you could make the argument that you're just Wonder Womaning or everything with the bangle, but it's also, you could argue that HP is just luck.
HQ, this is Sector 8, Unit 2. Target is surrounded.
We're surviving all this because we have a big sword and we block all the bullets with it.
I know that.
Duck.
That would be hilarious! Like, turns up, looks behind, sheathed sword, BAM! Tunnel gets him.
No need to assume the worst.
It definitely looked lower in one angle.
Guy's a soldier. Goddamn one-man army.
You think he's a
You
keeper?
should have done that in the abridged version.
Just reminds me, like in Phantom Menace, Darth Maul had no idea who Anakin was. He just thought it would be fun to run over a kid.
Giving public security a runaround. That's what. Had to draw them away from the station somehow.
Nicely done.
Well, can't argue results. Huh? What?
My capture card keeps going like...
Wait. Got a question for you all.
What?
Ever been attacked by an invisible enemy?
What?
Wearing robes. Came and went like the wind.
Thought they were invisible.
They were, at first. Only saw them after she grabbed me.
A new Shinra weapon, maybe?
I'll sing Ultimate Abridged,
More
put
like
it
a
in the middle. Yeah.
panic-induced hallucination.
I mean, that is our Wednesday night game, Mask of
Never
Blackness.
mind. Forget I said anything.
Suit yourself. Come on, let's move up.
So yeah, starting with, once we meet Ares, everything begins to, like, things begin happening that are like, we as the players feel are weird, only if we're familiar with the old game. Which I think is very, I think is a very good narrative thing that they did.
Which is also why I question the fact that they were saying this is the game we would have made all along.
Oh yeah, like that.
No, because you couldn't have.
Yeah, they absolutely couldn't have done that if that was what they were saying.
See the size of that fire?
Because it requires, like, the full impact of the narrative kind of requires knowledge of the old game. That it existed at the very least.
Yeah, and the time in between to let that simmer.
Yeah. Wedge, let that lady have the seat. Come on. Okay, up, hang on, wait.
All I want to do is pass out.
Wait, hang on, wait, hang on. There we go.
Everyone's on edge.
Of course they are.
Hey, Cloud.
Can't believe I'm excited to see the slums.
If you're about to unburden yourself, don't.
Yeesh. You don't make it easy.
Stop that right now!
Hey, got a sec?
My daughter now lives
You're
in Sector 8,
holding up pretty well, huh? Even after what we saw at the station and all over Sector 8?
I'm a soldier.
Wow. My hands are still shaking.
You get used to it.
Something to look forward
It's
to.
because you're on the train, Biggs.
Or maybe not.
You see, my daughter
Yeah.
now lives in
A lot of this is, why would you mention this in public?
Little help, Cloud?
Because they are not good terrorists.
Explosion that big. It doesn't make any sense.
Did you hear that, everyone? The bomb that I made!
You said so yourself.
That was my first guess, but shouldn't a reactor have fail-safes to prevent that kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely nobody's paying attention.
You
Austin.
mentioned invisible enemies back there, right?
Right.
No. I'm just looking for excuses for something that was clearly my own fault. Gotta own up to it if I'm gonna learn from this and move on. Thanks, Cloud. You're a good listener.
I can't believe I survived that. I was ready to
All right, next up on the docket,
What kind of maniacs
Barrett's
would go so far
problem-solving
to bomb a
skills.
reactor?
They've yet to announce it publicly, but I heard it was Avalanche's doing.
Really? Aren't they the terrorists who tried to kill the president?
Is there nothing they won't do?
Hey, quit talking out your ass. Everyone knows Avalanche only cares about saving the planet.
Just who do you think you are?
A law-abiding, concerned citizen.
Law-abiding? Really?
Shh. Don't antagonize him.
In my humble opinion, that explosion was a message. A message to the bastards bleeding our planet dry.
I like that Barrett can't resist needing to preach.
They got it? Heard it loud and clear? Y'all's masters?
We will not submit to intimidation or violence, but work together for peace and prosperity. That is how civilized people change the world.
That's right.
Good answer. Good answer. Good answer.
Them's fighting words.
Those are actively not fighting words, Barrett.
We all have to follow our conscience, don't we?
We should go.
Those were words
Ask him
actively
to take you
advocating
outside.
not fighting. Don't golf clap against Barrett.
Yeah, ask him to take it outside and let him go first.
I didn't hear anything. You gotta believe me. Man, this train is slower than molasses, am I right?
See, these NPCs sort of lampshade the fact that they're just talking about all this shit in public. Because they're like, I didn't hear a damn thing. What are you talking about? Man, whew, this train's going real slow.
How about that local sports team, huh?
Shinra creed my ass. We're the good guys, damn it.
Are you, Barrett?
You hear that suit? Shinra creed my ass.
Meanwhile, this person just passed the fuck out.
Hey, he's a service employee. He probably deserves it.
Oh yeah, no, he's
earned that rest.
That's a barista. That's a Starbucks barista right there.
Personally, I find visual aids make the dull stuff a lot more bearable. If it helps, think of it as an initiation rite.
How many times do I have to tell you people? I'm not...
There's such a thing as playing too hard to get. So, here we've got a wireframe
I like that she
model of
effectively
the
just
city
goes,
of Midway,
"Shh, you're pretty, but
complete
shut
with
up."
massive steel plates suspended 300 meters above ground level, up which stands a shining beacon of civilization. The whole system
Now,
is sustained by
again, would you have
reactors
had
which feed the
this
insatiable appetites
brand
of
new
the
model,
public.
or would you have used the excuse to add the old video in?
Checkpoint shortly.
This here is
I'd use
train's
the new
route.
model.
As you can see, it'll take us around this main pillar. Look, we're about halfway through it now. They've set up a checkpoint
It's
here
like,
to
oh,
scan
here's
IDs
this
for all
old
passengers
rendering
coming
of the
from
city as it is, and it's just literally ripped from the old game.
Criminal history.
Yeah, no, I'd still go with that. I mean, that'd be a neat little like, that'd be a neat little like,
Wouldn't have it any other way. Heads up.
Easter egg. But I would
worry.
just go with the new
Our
model.
IDs are impeccable. little faith.
Because you have to have it running in the background like that,
Won't be
like that
long
one
till
is
we
right
reach the
there,
bottom.
like even when it's not
Relax.
center of focus, and the old footage would look
Take a good
awkward
look.
doing that.
It's because of that great big pizza in the sky that people down there gotta struggle to survive. Shinra sucks up Mako while the soil turns to dust, the air fills with smog, and the flowers die.
Then leave and don't look back. That's what's always worked for me.
Well, that's all well and good.
I like that you can
If you
see where
only
the
out for yourself.
materia slots are in his
But
gun.
the folks down there don't have the luxury of choice, you know.
Yeah, they may also not have access to the old footage in an accessible file format.
They could just ask the mod community.
There's only one way it can go.
EVALANCHE, yeah, that's who we be.
Anti-Shinra group that contends the company is destroying the world with Mako.
Sweetheart.
So why does this guy live in the slums?
Knew it couldn't be that bad. No way.
He's a Shinra middle manager. Why is he living in the slums?
Damn, we are good!
Yes! Bombs detonated 1, members lost 0.
And one step closer to a brighter future.
Hell yeah!
I mean, they do go into that in the original game.
I mean, you can get into it here too, but it's like, yeah, since he may not be as rich as he actually looks. Yeah, but it's like,
Just be ready for the next mission, all right?
who lives on top of the plate? Like, the game wants us to believe that like basically middle middle class and up live on the plate, but this is the middle manager who would be middle, upper middle class in the real world, living below the plate.
Not long now,
Office still short? How are people here taking the news?
It's got a lot of them worried, but not enough to stop them from partying, I guess.
Don't they realize what's happened?
Never been so
Unbelievable.
well. I'll tell you know somehow.
How about it, baby girl?
Train services have concluded for the day. We will provide.
Yeah, that might be it. It might be like the under the plate is like the suburbs where you can actually own land.
So the Mako reactor's broken?
Train guy.
But don't you worry. We're gonna fix it. It'll be up and running in no time.
Really? That's great!
Sure is, sweetie.
What about train guy?
Just in general.
We will provide an update on the schedule first thing tomorrow morning. Thank you for your patience. Emergency train services have now concluded. This was the final train of the day. We apologize for the inconvenience, but please have a safe journey home.
Well, then you can
So that
Some guys on the train were saying
is a
stuff
flat
about
image.
criticizing the good work we do.
Ingrates. I hope you were able to talk some sense into them.
Yeah,
Like the background here, all of this, all of the pillar and the plate, all of that is a single flat image. None of it is rendered.
Yeah, the perspective doesn't change on it enough.
Yeah, not at all. But that is an impressively detailed flat image. Like you can tell when you're walking right towards it. See how it literally doesn't, like the distance to and from it doesn't change at all.
Stuff going down. A reactor bomb. I'm going on a ghost.
I really like that. That's one of the ways that they make the game run so well. Ah, God, I'm stuck. Oh, God. Oh, no, I'm trapped. Ah, okay. Ah, get away. Get away. Ah. Hang on. Wait. Okay, there we go.
Office still there?
Alright, guys, bring it in. Hug it out.
It's cloud freaking out in the middle of it. like it's one of the ways that they make the game run so well.
Some guys on the
Is by like they use a lot of like flat 2D images for backgrounds, for like distance backgrounds. But they look, if you're not looking directly at them and you don't know they're flat 2D images, you wouldn't notice. They are so very detailed. I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
What kind of person bombs a reactor?
I did it. It was me.
Hello.
Huh. Mako is the lifeblood of the planet? Yeah, the hell it is. Goddamn eco-warriors with their dumbass posters. I tear them down and they're back up inside of an hour. Like I've got nothing better to do. I mean, look at all that steel work. You trying to tell me that's not progress? What the? You okay, buddy?
I like that he's having flashbacks to events that haven't happened yet.
Mako junkie, huh? Figures.
You again.
That hot shower can't come soon enough. I can barely tell my skin from all the ash and sweat.
When I get back, it's refueling time.
Excuse me?
You, Jesse?
Due to an emergency, entry into this area is prohibited. Sorry for the inconvenience.
You call that a warning?
No, sir! In accordance with emergency regulations, entry into this area is prohibited. Please, leave at once.
Still too nice.
Come on, you
This
can.
area is off limits. Turn around and leave at once. If you don't, I'll have no choice but to use force.
Now you're getting the hang of it.
I know people are like, this, the sergeant here is way angrier than he should be. I feel like that's exactly the same energy. It's just that you're hearing it now. He's still being,
and it's
like he's still being supportive. He's just being supportive in a slightly more aggressive way. Like he's like, no, you need to be here, you need to be here. And then when he finally gets there, he's like, that's it, you got it.
Yeah, and less slurs, which is nice.
Yeah, that too. Sounds more like a corporal, really. I was just referring to him as a sergeant because I think that's what he's referred to in the original game. I don't know what his actual rank is. But like he's still being supportive. He's just being like he's doing the thing where it's like you have to bring them up to your level. He's providing the example of where he should be or where he thinks he should be. And yes, he's doing it with less slurs.
Once again, police supplies are currently being distributed in
That's
the
where I
lobby
work.
of the Shinra building.
No freaking
Doctors are
way.
also stationed
Put
in
that
the
fire
building
out,
around the
idiots.
police center.
I
If
was
you are
there
unable to
yesterday.
reach the building on your own, please contact the nearest Shinra employee for assistance. Mayor Domino is...
That's almost on par with chanting defense at a sports game.
Put the fire out, you idiots.
It's really... Oh, we hadn't thought of that.
Arlene.
Daddy, you're home!
That's right, Angel. I
Welcome
am.
back.
Have you been a good girl?
Yeah, I've become Tifa.
Oh, you did you? Well, well.
You made it. Where'd you get that? I can't remember the last time I saw a real one. Huh?
Don't act like you planned that, Cloud.
How sweet. When did you get so thoughtful?
Guy can change. Has been 5 years.
Huh?
Oh yeah, no, Barrett definitely
talk to
smells
Barrett.
like sweat and
Right.
gunpowder
Come on
all the time.
I was just thinking, it's like,
Daddy,
it's probably odd if he
Marco
didn't
plays
smell
cool.
like that.
Everyone on TV's talking about it.
Don't you worry about all that silliness. Daddy's here and he's not going anywhere tonight. Now turn that thing off and let's get you to bed, huh?
Marlene is the single greatest thing in this entire game.
Yeah, your money. Ask Tifa. She takes care of all that.
Do you mind keeping Marlene company until I'm done with this?
Me?
Her dad's
Yeah,
right
you.
there. Done with what? You're just standing there staring at me. You're not doing anything.
Hey! The hell you think you're doing scaring my daughter like
I
that?
didn't do anything, Barrett.
Daddy says never talk to strangers.
That's right, honey. I do say that. What a good girl you are remembering Daddy's lessons. You know what else good girls do? They go to bed on time. Come on.
How did Barrett just walk by those Shinra officers without being stopped? Because he's Barrett.
All right, but just this once.
You could fit 3 of those Shinra officers inside Barrett.
My money.
When you walk by when someone who is the width of 3 of you walks by, you don't stop them.
About that. We should talk outside.
Tifa, are you about to tell me you don't have my money?
Daddy? Did the people who died all return to the planet?
Of course.
Before we get on to money, there's an empty apartment in a place just down the road. It's nothing fancy, but I was thinking you could stay there for now. The landlady's a big friend of the cause, so you wouldn't even have to pay rent. Sound good?
This is Final
Sure
Fantasy.
does.
Nobody has a house here. What are you talking about?
Follow me then. How was it up on the plate?
We never sleep. We
was
just keep going until the
chaotic.
game ends.
Sorry for dragging you into all this. It was wrong of me to put you in danger like that. I promise I won't do it again.
Danger's part of the job. Don't worry about me.
Well, John Locke Cole, like returning to the planet
Happy to help
is
save
a belief. Like that's what Avalanche was founded on, particularly in the original game, because like Barrett and others went to Cosmo Canyon and learned from Bugenhagen and the rest about the life cycle of the planet and the life stream.
You're not exactly a people person.
So obviously Barrett would teach Marlene about that because that's what Barrett believes.
I saw Sector 8 on the news. It
Yeah.
was like a war zone.
The news is just another Shinra mouthpiece. They'll spread whatever lies Shinra tells them to.
So,
I cannot wait until we get to Cosmo Canyon and see Bugenhagen in this level of detail. I cannot wait to see how they interpret that.
and here we are. Good old Stargazer Heights. You're
For
on the
those that
second
are
floor.
unfamiliar, Bugenhagen in the original game was basically like a beard on a rectangle floating on something. We don't know what.
Room 201 here is where I sleep. Don't have time for much else.
Why would you
what
tell
with
me that,
Seventh
Tifa?
Heaven and all. Not even time to decorate. Here's your room, 202. Don't worry, I already told the landlady about you.
You did?
Yes?
Maybe it was a floating ball?
I mean, I
Who
told her I had a
knows?
friend looking for a place to stay. Was that too much?
No. It's fine. And this?
That one's, know what? It's getting late. I'll introduce you tomorrow.
You don't have a choice. You live here now. Oh, okay, I guess.
Look, we even put up this commemorative plaque. Don't forget, you're here forever.
It's a little bare, but should be enough to get you through the night.
Camera
If you
cuts
want
to the other
anything else,
angle, and there's
we
a
can
small
always-
bear in the corner.
My money. You guys owe me 2,000, remember?
I do. And we'd love to settle
Say
up,
the-
especially
say Gil,
since this was
say
your first
Gil.
job for us. But
That's it?
sorry, we spent the rest preparing for the mission. That really is it.
You
But
spent
not for
my
long.
money.
I'm collecting money for filters tomorrow, so I can pay you after.
And you're sure about that?
Of course, as long as you help, that is. Wait, then I'd have to pay you for that too. Never mind.
No, 2,000's enough. That's what we agreed on, so that'll be the price. With
I
what
like
you
that
gave me,
Cloud doesn't
that leaves
actually have a
1,500.
sense of his
You're the
own
best.
value. He just sort of like
I'll see you bright and early
is
at the bar
going
then.
along with it.
Thanks
It's
again
like,
for
well, no,
everything.
I need to get paid
Sleep
2,000, so I'll do more work so I get paid for the work I've already done. He's just fucking winging it.
Look, he was promised a 2,000 gil stimulus check, and
Guess it's
minus the
time for
500 gil
introductions.
one he'd already gotten.
That's just 1,500 more, isn't it? Wow,
and
it's
not
kind of
2,000 more.
Wow, it's kind of creepy how how much that correlates. That sword's not practical for this room. Listen, this sword makes any room practical for it,
One way or the other.
one way or the other.
Hey, you okay in there?
You sound like you're having the shits.
Coming in.
See, now that is in the biz what we call foreshadowing.
No, I just like the. This sword's not practical for this room. He tries to draw it and hits the door.
What are you doing to Marco? This is his apartment. He's got a few problems, but he's not a bad guy.
He grabbed
The
my
landlady
foot and was
asked me to
saying
check on
reunion.
him
Leave me
now
alone.
To make sure he's okay. Can I ask you to do the same?
Sure.
I just really like the click. Fuck.
But it's also like the horror movie trope. It's like, if you go into a dark room that the killer is in, you have to say who's there. And even if they responded, "Oh, it's me, the serial killer, and I've come to murder you," you
no,
don't just
no, John Locke, hold
accept
the-
it. You go,
The tattoos in the original go up to like 60s or 70s. You know, 49 is not the highest number we've seen in the game. Like in the narrative of Final Fantasy 7. Sorry, Al, you continue.
no, I was just going to say, even if he's like, "Oh, I'm the killer, I've come to kill you," you don't just accept it. You have to go, "Oh, what do you want?"
Yeah. I'm gonna go steal somebody's shit. A tuft of Phoenix down.
Well, now, you must be clever.
So, the number of tattoos.
I'm Marl, your landlady.
Marco,
So how'd you like
along with a large number of
You
other
from up
people,
on
are a group of individuals that have been experimented on
No matter.
by
All kinds
a
come
person we'll be
through with
meeting
all kinds
later.
of reasons.
Um,
If you ever need
and
me
they've been
there,
sort of
I'll
genetically
lend you mine.
modified
Can be about
in
anything,
in a very
even
specific
Tifa.
way.
What's she to you?
That
The granddaughter I
and they,
never
all the
had.
ones that have been
And if
modified
you
in this
hurt
way
her,
have been
I'll take
were
it out
were
of your
tattooed with numbers for the
Clear.
number of them that were
Good. Now you'd
that were
best get a
experimented
move
on.
on to Seventh Heaven. She's got a head start on you, and then
Let's see,
some.
how many of them were there? Were there? I like how Grandma was threatening this gratuitous a sort of mess with Tifa. Yeah. Oh, apparently I'm wrong. In the original game, no numbers were higher than 12. While in the remake, the highest number seen is 49. Okay. I could have sworn there were higher numbers than that. There's definitely more than 12 or 49 anyways, because you see like hundreds of the fuckers over the course of the game. Because they're just like, there's in the original game, they were just individual, like just, it was all the same model. It was just sort of like a hunched over individual with a, wearing a black robe, and you would see them. You wouldn't be able to interact with all of them, but you would see them throughout the game, leading up to the game's climax, and there were like hundreds of them. But yeah, they're all individuals that have been experimented on by a scientist, by a Shinra scientist who will be introduced later in the game.
My husband decided to go to this.
Just imagine if rich people start thinking it's
17 people with tattoos are seen at the end game of the original.
Yeah. But that's not all of them, because several of them don't make it to Reunion.
Hopefully we'll get an
Yeah.
Because there's like
the 11 that survive.
Yeah. Because there's like the one guy in the Sector 7 slums, or in the Sector 5 slums, and then there's another guy there's like a few guys that are in Shinra Tower, and there's a guy in Calm. I think there's a guy in Calm. And then there are people like scattered throughout all the various towns that never make it to Reunion.
There's one that's like not as bad. It's just like, I just felt like putting this cloak on again. Huh, weird.
Yeah. All of them yeah. It's very possible that many of them could have been seen multiple times, but we don't check the numbers of them more than once, so.
You can't do it.
What are you trying to do?
Enjoy yourselves. It's like they don't even care a reactor blew up.
Do you need
He's
help?
okay. Last I knew, he was posted in Reactor 1.
You won't
Haven't heard
get
from him
the
since it
best
blew.
of me.
You tell that barrel. Well, I think watching this man with his Sisyphean task of lifting this barrel up, I think is where we're going to end it for this week. We're level 8. We're into chapter... using too much elbow.
Needs more cowbell.
Sorry, no, we're level 10. We're level 10. We're into chapter 3. Next, chapter 3 is a bunch of side quests, so we'll be doing those tomorrow. But yeah, so thank you all for joining me here in my ADHD stream. Like I said at the top, this is basically me. This is me using my coping mechanisms My coping mechanism is to make a show out of the thing that I'm trying to do. So in order to corral my ADHD and make me do things, I have to have a schedule. So this is my schedule. So Monday through Friday, I'll be back here 9 a.m. to 9 a.m. to noon, playing games. We're gonna play all the way through Final Fantasy VII Remake on stream, and then we'll advance to other games, and people may or may not join me as we go. But thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with more. In the meantime, if you're into other things, Wednesday I will be on Val's channel over at twitch.tv/ what's the Valdrianth, which is VALDRIANTH, playing some more D&D, and then we'll have our normal streams of Hunter on Wednesday night and Grand Terra on Thursday night. But next up on this channel will be more of me tomorrow. So thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back. We'll be back watching that dude trying to lick the barrel tomorrow. Say goodbye, El.
Hello.
Goodbye.